And basically, in a nutshell, we've been focusing on creating a concept that will help Stockholm become a city that invites sustainable aging. So I'll start off by presenting myself. My name is Ira, and I am a sociologist, and I also work in nonprofit community building.
Hi, I'm Anna and I come from tourism studies. Hi, I'm Barbara. I also study tourism, but also study regional development.
My name is Mohammed Turan. I'm a medicine student and I'm studying KI.
I am Isabella. I'm Jessica. I'm a student in project management and informatics. And I'm Amanda and got a background in political science and work in tech.
So let's start. We've got a challenge from Mikasa, who's us here now, and El Förvaltningen for like 6 weeks, a few weeks ago. Or long. Our initial challenge was the following. How might we create senior residences with age-friendly environment and good mobility solutions that encourage physical activity, social interactions, and well-being for seniors? So why are we doing that? Actually, population of ages, all ages are increasing, and there's prognosis from now until 2030 and 2040 that is pretty amazing, that we are gonna double the age of plus 80 is gonna double by 2030, and it's gonna increase all the years. So that's an issue for us to solve for now, or just to make a solution for it. So
be able to stand here in front of you today and presenting a final concept. It has been a journey for our team. And the concept is created from the design thinking process, which is not a straightforward process, but highly iterative. And it has been both challenging and rewarding to work with this. And we got to meet a lot of wonderful seniors in Stockholm during the process. And we had a lot of ideas and concepts to work with. And to be able to ideate a lot, we had to understand the problem. And to understand the problem, it's all about to understand the users. So our story kind of begins during the empathize phase. We took a lot of actions to really understand the users. We visited several senior residences. We visited a newly built nursing home, and we visited a lot of different activity centers. And we did service, we talked with and conducted in-depth interviews with seniors at the streets, in their home, and with their loved ones. And altogether, we collected a lot of insights and learned a lot. During our meetings with the seniors, one returning statement was that people don't want to be a burden. They don't want to feel dependent on the others. And they value their independence. And one seniors told us that not all old people need help. We are all individuals. We also found out that a lot of people were lonely. We met with a lady who has she said her partner passed away. They didn't have any children, and a lot of the social networks disappeared after the pandemic. And she was longing for to go to the opera with someone. We also met with a senior who was living independently and was registered to an activity center, but she didn't go there because no one had invited her. So from these and a lot of other insights, we could formulate our key insights.
Yes, so just to reiterate what Jessica said here is that we found a few different needs that were like a red thread throughout all the conversations we had really with seniors. And that was the need to feel belonging, purpose with people and in society. Accessibility is really important when your functions change, like mobility issues and so on. And that sense of, having independence, which is very connected to dignity for a lot of people. But also that these three needs were often in conflict with each other. So, for example, if you move to more physically accessible senior housing, then you tend to only be surrounded by other old people, and in a way, your belonging in general society is a bit diminished. But on the other hand, if you remain clinging on to your independence and your dignity in your own house and area, then often you can meet another, maybe lonelier kind of segregation, because you tend to not go out as much anymore. You don't want to be a burden to your family and friends if you have special needs. But what we saw that was very encouraging was that when people had strong social relationships, they were mutual, authentic, that kind of give and take. They were also much more motivated to stay active, even if they had issues with mobility and other things. And because they had that extra push or invitation, but also when they did need support from those people, to them, it didn't feel them like a loss of dignity or independence. So that's, the key.
Great, yeah, so this gave us great soil to build from, where we found that from our initial challenge that focused on mobility, through our insights, we found that social connection was a precursor to motivation, which then led to mobility, which helped us then redefine our challenge to be the following. How can we enable less care-dependent seniors to be socially and physically active and increase their sense of belonging in society without interfering with their sense of independence and dignity? Which again, this just, again, to summarize, wrap it up, our principles to create this brand new concept is to first and foremost focus on relationship and connection, really hone in on individuality and choice, not lumping in all elderly people, which then leads to the next point of avoiding stigmatizing or continuing to perpetuate the stigma around what elderly, and of course, make it purposeful.
Here you can see our initial concepts, what we came up with in first part of our course. I'm not going through all of them, but basically we were firstly thinking about motivation and mobility, like two different aspects. But after that, we did like more idealization and more thinking deeper about our ideas. And we realized our game changer that social connections leads to mobility. And we decided to take some of our ideas from previous concepts, and we came up with a new idea called Little Wishes.
Exactly. So what is Little Wishes actually all about? It's supposed to be an interactive platform and sold in local communities. And it should be implemented as a screen in apartment buildings all over Stockholm. So people who live in those apartments would be able to add an event or an activity they would like to have a companion with. And people would be able to do so via the screen at the buildings or a website as well as a phone line. And if one would like to sign up for such an event, you could just provide your contact details, and those ones would be forwarded to the people who added their wish or their activity. So basically people of any group age would be able to interact with their neighbors. And this is what we thought, or this is what should foster a community building. We were also thinking that so-called local ambassadors would maintain the platform. They would answer the phone hotline. They would help make authentic connections, and they would also scout for existing local activities. We had a first prototype, an initial prototype, but after having some critical feedback, we moved away from having this platform as kind of a helping platform to a more interactive platform which informs about events. Yes, so this is how our new prototype looks like. And basically, we went through 4 different iteration stages with the prototype and landed on the one we have over here. And so people should be able to add on their different devices, different types of activities, which would be then grouped into cultural things, sport things, and so on. And you would be able to just sign up for them and your contact details will be forwarded.
Yes, so we'll also have the prototype review and look at that more in depth later. So again, wrapping this up, why we chose this concept was because it really focused on what we call constructive codependence, which just basically means people need people, and social relationships are key here to then be able to be motivated to move and do things and find a purpose. It strengthens local communities, which goes with the fifth point of it being sustainable. If you focus on community building, eventually this concept will not be needed in the future because the community will kind of help itself. Also, the connections that are created are authentic, meaning that especially seniors feel like they aren't being a burden. And it is also inclusive and non-stigmatizing because we are trying to also focus on this being intergenerational, and basically for anyone, so not just an elderly initiative.
When it comes to the implementation, we think that a good starting point would be to have the screen in one or two buildings in Stockholm. We will make sure that we have seniors in those buildings, and in the beginning, we're thinking of promoting the screen with the help of local ambassadors. We know that we have to put some effort in it in the beginning. We're thinking about having the screen next to the elevator at the same level with the buttons that you use to call up the lift. It also has some features which are adapted for seniors. It's about 40 centimeters horizontal. It's a touch screen where you can see big letters and big buttons because we are trying to make it easier for the seniors. We also thought a little bit about some potential issues like people trying to steal it or maybe damage it or having random inputs in it. And some of the solutions that we have so far is having personal accounts or maybe keeping the screens in libraries or even moving it all online in an extreme situation. The basic functionality of the screen is that it works as a notice board and it actually gives information on events and activities happening in the area. You can join a neighbor for them, and we hope that it will be a source of inspiration for going out, but also a tool to nudge connection. Because if you think about it, friendship and social connection leads to better health. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Goldis.